Hello, and welcome to the movie universe. I'm your host, Movie Fan, here once again to do another live stream. Now, as I'm sure you're reading in the title, it's going to be about random stuff. And believe me, this is going to be about as random as it's possibly going to get, because normally I don't do random too much. But I'll just, I'll wait for anyone to show up. And so I'll just start it off by saying that hopefully everybody's safe out there. Things are going well. And hopefully, you know, we can all get back to our regular lives soon. But until then, we're still stuck in our homes and so on and so forth. You know the drill. But yeah, hopefully we'll all be back to normal soon. I would say that if we start taking more of the vaccine, we'll probably get there a lot quicker. So for everybody who has their doubts about it, try and put that out of your mind for a little bit because, you're not helping matters. I mean, I got my shots and I'm doing all right. So, that's all I can say about that. Anyway, let's see. Let me think of something. Well, for anybody who's wondering what's going on, let's see. As you may already know, I got a girlfriend. Things are going really well there. My cats, they're being their usual frisky selves as always. You know the old saying, cats will be cats, right? So, yeah. Ah, I see Bonnie's joined us. Hi, Bonnie. Always nice when somebody drops in. Ah, there she is. But yeah, things are going pretty well. So, thanks, Bonnie. That's always nice to hear. But anyway, today it's going to be, like I said, today it's going to be as random as I could possibly get it because, I don't really have much to say except, well, correction. I don't have anything huge I want to talk about that's in my usual quota, except, the way things are going right now, I think there's a lot of stuff that we can do without a little, and possibly we could try to change things up a little. Just a theory. Let's say, for instance, you know, there has been one big thing that has come up. This is the final season of the stupid Kardashians. Finally, no more of that keeping up with the Kardashians garbage. I think we're all better off, and it should. And I think I can speak for a lot of people when I say that that piece of trash should have went off the air decades ago. In fact, it should never even got started at all. So I'm glad. I'm absolutely glad that we're never going to hear from that ever again. Fine by me, because you know what? They don't. They have no right to be famous. They don't. That's the truth. Because you know what? Let's get real. The only reason they're famous is because one, their dad helped get O.J. Simpson off for the murders he committed. That's how they got the money. And two, because of the fact that for some reason they were given a reality show. Finally, no more keeping up with Barbie Kardashians. You were so right about that, Bonnie. But yeah, and you know what? This is a terrible thing to say, but let's get real, people. It's the truth. The only reason they got their show was because they had a buttload of money to just throw into it. In fact, I'm pretty sure they were producing it themselves. Let's get real. And if there's a second reason, I think we all know exactly what that is, don't we? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you've heard about how Harvey Weinstein got actresses famous, don't you? And gave them their gigs? How much you want to bet that in their case they promised to do a little something for a producer or anyone who would, give them a chance, knowing their reputations as we all do. And don't tell me you don't buy that for a minute, because come on, they're legendary for, well, fooling around out there. Let's get real. We know it's true. So, and yeah, you know what? Yeah, pretty much. Except in their case, they probably just gave it away for free. They probably didn't have to talk to Harvey Weinstein about it. But anyway, yeah, he does. He does need to stay in jail for that because that's terrible altogether. But in their case, like I said, I doubt they were manipulated into it. I think they just did it. Am I throwing some accusations that I cannot prove? Yeah. But you know what? Like I said, it's random. And let's get real, their reputations are very well known. They are basically the most high priced 8 WHORESs in Hollywood. It's no secret. Come on, people. So, either way, thank God they're finally going off the air once and for all. So, we won't have to put up with that. Now, all we need to do is get rid of that lie that's on the internet about, if for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, there's an article that was printed after Zsa Zsa Gabor died. May she rest in peace. Anyway, the article said that the Gabors were the original Kardashians. That is 500 times wrong in so many ways. Because one, the Gabors, they earned their fame. They didn't sleep their way to the top like the Kardashians have. Not to mention, they didn't have a rich lawyer daddy who got a killer off. So, they earned their fame because, Zsa Zsa and Ava, they did so many movies. And of course, Ava was legendary for her TV shows like Green Acres and that. There was a third one. I think she did like one movie, and I think she did some modeling. I forget her name though. She's pretty much the forgotten one. But either way, they earned their fame. They didn't sleep their way to the top, and they certainly didn't get it off of their daddy's coattails. Yeah, I know. That's exactly what I said too. That's one thing that's got to go is garbage like that. Anyway, let's see. Some more things. Let's. I'll talk about things I would like to see happen in the near future. One of the big ones, and you can say what you will about this, but one of the big ones is I would like to see us get the first dibs on our movies. Now, what I mean by that is quite simple. Whenever a movie premieres, now, sure, it premieres in Hollywood first, among the actors, the producers, and certain guests and all that, which is fine. That's different. You would expect that. But here's the thing. For some unknown reason, they always premiere the movies worldwide after that. And then here in America, we get it last. Why? Why are we last in line for our movies that are made here in this country? In England, do you think they put their movies out worldwide first and then come back to London? No way. They do hometown first, then worldwide, not the other way around. So what? And everyone else does too. China does it. Japan does it. India, I think, has their own little Hollywood thing going on there. Bollywood, as it used to be known when I was growing up. And I know there's other countries that do it too, like France and Germany. So many others. They do movies. Granted, they don't always make it here because, George, George, hey, George. Um, I think he wants to be a YouTube star. Yeah, he's busy pawing my computer as we speak right now. Oh dear. George. Hey. Hey, buddy. Thanks. Okay. Well, anyway, point is, when they do movies in their country, they get first dibs on it. They do not send it out worldwide and then all of a sudden their country gets it last. So why do we do it? Why do we get last dibs on our movies? Huh? Why is that? Oh, Bonnie says, hi, Georgie. Oh, there he goes. Bye bye, little man. Yeah, he's off to do something. I don't know what he's going to do, but he's going to do something. That's my boy. Always up to something. Yeah. Well, anyway, I still can't help but wonder why is it we're last in line here? Because, there was a time that we weren't last in line. We were first, and then it went around the world. So why did it switch places? And why are we stuck with that? We need to fix that, definitely. We definitely need to. Of course, granted, right now, since they're doing stuff online, I guess you could say it's all at the same time. But still, when it comes to the movie theaters, we shouldn't be last in line for this. We should be first. Well, right after the Hollywood premiere, of course, because, that's a requirement anyway. You would expect that. So, yeah, okay. And let's see. That's one thing I would like to see. I would also like to see TV shows get a little less political. Oh, who am I kidding? Let's knock off the politics on TV shows. This is getting ridiculous. I am so sick and tired of hearing people talking about the virus on the latest show, And I'm not talking about the news. I'm talking about like Chicago Fire or Chicago Med. I just love being reminded how we're dealing with the virus right now. Just like I love how Hawaii Five-O, and I'm talking the reboot, not the better one, not the original, the reboot, had they just kept reminding us, left, right, up, down, and sideways, that we're in a war on terror. We're fighting terrorism. You know, I watch television to escape reality, not wallow in it. And I know I'm not the only one. A lot of people watch it to escape reality. This is ridiculous. Why do we have to keep hearing that all the time? Why do they have to cram the virus and, of course, terrorism down our throats? We had to put up with the terrorism talk for, I think it's been about 20 years now, actually, just about. Well, almost. Yeah, it is. It has been about 20 years now. I mean, granted, it's not September yet, but that's not the point. Point is, it's getting there. Granted, they started talking about it a lot less ever since, this happened. But I just love being reminded of that, and I am being extremely sarcastic, by the way, because I don't want to be reminded of this. I want to get away from the reality of the fact that we're stuck with this thing right now. I want to get away from the fact that we're stuck wearing masks, which I tell you this, the day we're told to never wear them again, I'm going to build a big bonfire and do a tribal dance for the fact that it's gone. I'm not kidding. I will do that. I will actually do that. Throw them in a bonfire and do a tribal dance. Ooga, 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 ooga. So yeah. But anyway, yeah. And it's not just the virus and terrorism that I'm talking about with the political business. What do I mean by that? Come on, So we'll leave it at that. But yeah, we just need a lot less of that, big time. Oh, hello, princess. What I would like to see more of is, a lot more good stuff. Because everyone's been hitting such I don't know, a plateau, I guess, where pretty much most shows are all exactly the same, and they're rip-offs of each other big time. Let's get real. But it would be nice to see some other things going around. I have been considering doing a special video, but I've been kicking it around back and forth, even talking about it with my friends. And Bonnie, I know you know what I'm talking about. I was thinking of trying to do a little video talking about some of the big cartoon animators, just talking about people like Chuck Jones, Max Fleischer, stuff like that. Do a big video on that because, everybody always likes to talk about them separately. But to the best of my knowledge, no one's ever done it as a whole. I've been tempted to do that. I haven't gotten around to it because I've been kicking it around back and forth. And I'm not sure I'm not sure if it's too big for me or if I should bother to do it at all. But especially considering how YouTube has been right now, some of my videos barely get a few views. So, in fact, even now, only Bonnie's watching. And I know it's true. So, yeah. I mean, maybe I picked a bad time. Maybe that's the possibility. I don't know. But I don't know. For some reason, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Even after I pretty much given up on BitChute, I'm still getting a lot more views on BitChute than I am here. I don't know. But anyway. Anyhow, I still got a few things coming around, and I'm still kicking that idea around. I don't know if anybody would go for that or not. So I don't know. But, that's the problem. I do things my way, and everybody has to have footage and all that, and it works for them all right. There's no doubt about that. But, what can you do? When you don't have it, you don't have it. Especially when you got joints that try to, well, basically put up a whole, how do I put this? Especially when they literally copyright you within 5 seconds of the whole thing. So, I don't know. But, I don't know. Oh, you think it's worth talking about, Bonnie? That's good to hear. Because I don't know anymore. If it sounds like I'm getting a little discouraged, folks, yeah, I am. Because, it's a sad thing when nobody cares anymore. I mean, like I said, maybe I picked the wrong time to try to do this little live stream, but, it's a sad thing when hardly anybody chimes in, nobody cares, nobody looks up these videos, especially when you try your darndest to put some effort into it. I don't know. I don't know. So, hmm? Yeah, they sure did. Max Fleischer was one of the big ones. He did a whole bunch of incredible styles. He was one of the people who did that whole rubber hose thing that Disney did as well. But, Fleischer was the one who really perfected the art of cartooning, even before Disney, I think, because, he did rotoscoping, and that was a very big deal. That paved the way for what they use now with CGI. If I remember correctly, it's called motion capture, if I'm not mistaken. That's, I mean, it was a prelude to it. It's not exactly the same, but who am I kidding? Yeah, it is actually. There's only one big difference with motion capture. It's the dots and the stuff on the suit that the actor wears that captures the stuff on the computer, and you just, get your character built up and match up the dots, and the character does what the actor did. Whereas for rotoscope, everything is painstakingly hand drawn to mimic the exact movements. Now, granted, when Fleischer did this, he would often do this to, he would create characters like a ghost, stuff like that, to dance like famous jazz singer Cab Calloway. Most of you might remember him from the movie The Blues Brothers. He was their mentor, you know? Anyway, but he also did this for quite a few characters, actually. Like, for instance, in Gulliver's Travels, they literally drawn the actor to who played Gulliver to match him up perfectly. In fact, if you ever seen Max Fleischer's version of Gulliver's Travels, Gulliver looks so real, so lifelike, like he really is human. That's why. Of course, he also did get a hold of it. Well, he did have some dealings with an artist. He was one of the first people to try and make cartoon characters look actually human. Because if you ever watch the earlier ones from the 1920s all the way up to the 30s, just a little bit before a little movie called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, well, some of them may look human-esque, but they still look cartoony. I mean, let's take you didn't notice that, Bonnie? You really didn't? Oh, it's too bad. Yeah, because I did see your review on that, and it was a very good review, by the way. Who knows? Maybe we should talk about that together one of these days, huh? But yeah, that's one of the things he did. Fleischer was ahead of his time in so many ways. I think one of my favorite little tricks that he did was, hold on, I'll get back to that in a minute. But yeah, there was an artist, I forget his name, I'll have to do a little research on that, but he was one of the first people to try to make them as lifelike as possible, to actually look human. because back then, they were making them look cartoony. Just if you've seen cartoons, you know what I'm talking about. They don't look real. They don't look like real people. This artist was one of the few ones to actually do it. In fact, he was so sought after. Disney tried to poach him off of Fleischer for years. I'm not kidding. And finally, he ended up succeeding, and he got him to draw Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. In fact, if you ever noticed, Snow White and the prince and the queen do actually look like they might be real people compared to, the dwarves, of course. Now, granted, when the queen turns into that old hag, well, obviously it's a little cartoony, but it's but still, point is, when the queen before she becomes that, she looks, well, human, like real genuine human. Yeah, we should. Yeah, I agree, Bonnie. We should. We'll have to get together on that sometime. Right now, I'm working on a big one with Alpha Lion Simba. That shouldn't take too long, though. I don't think. But yeah, and we'll see what comes next. But anyway, Fleischer was way ahead of his time. Probably one of my favorite things. Now I'm finally getting to that. Was he would actually get real models of things and put them in to the cartoons he was making. I'm not kidding. It's called multiplaning. Now it's nothing new. I think it was being used even before Fleischer. Actually, I think I could be wrong about that. Like I said, I gotta do a little more research. And for those of you who don't know what multiplaning is, unless you, of course, you're an animator or a cartoonist or you worked with CGI, multiplaning is simple. There's the foreground and the background. The foreground is, it's a different plane. You know what? I think it could be best described by Bob Ross, the painter who did The Joy of Painting. He would talk about the foreground, which is forward, and the background, which is behind you. Now, what multiplaning is basically it's multiple planes of anything really. You got your background, you got your midground. I think that's what they call it. I could be wrong about that one. And the foreground. The background, it could be stationary. And this is an old trick that's been used a lot. Fleischer really mastered that big time. How it would go is the background would be stationary. Maybe sometimes they'll move the background a little just to make it look like you're moving, like a character is walking left or right or something. And, well, it would save a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of drawing. But Fleischer, he was a genius. He would put a background at times, and he would also put models. I'm not kidding, actual models. He would have them painted up to look like they belong in the cartoon. And, well, he would have the characters in front, go around them even. He would have them in front of them. He would have them walk into them, or look like they walk into them anyway, or even go around them. I'm not kidding. You can actually see this a lot in Fleischer's work. In fact, if you ever watch a special called Popeye the Sailor meets Sinbad the Sailor, you could see stuff that actually looks even more real than well the characters themselves. That's the actual models in there. Hey, Max Power, it's good to see you. Bob Ross, in my opinion, excuse me a minute. Hello? Yeah, sure. Okay, thanks. Okay, okay. Where was I? I hate interruptions. But anyway, let's say Bob Ross, in my opinion, is one of the most positive people ever. That's true. He really was. Because, I even did a video on him, which I haven't released yet. But, he was the kind of guy that he could really tell you that you can paint. He really had a can do attitude. And that's no lie either. A serious can do attitude. He was a good guy. It's too bad he passed on it when he did, because we could definitely use someone like him around, that's for sure. And funny thing, believe it or not, he was actually in the Air Force. Yeah, he really was. He actually was in the Air Force. Can you picture a nice guy like him actually being in the military? Hmm. But yeah, but then again, I've been told he was very patriotic. So hey, anybody who's a patriot is all right with me because I come from a military family, so I know the drill. Oh, and speaking of military families, I heard that one of the Tuskegee Airmen died in February, but they just buried him last week. So I am sorry to hear that. I've always had great respect for them. And, to lose any hero from WW2 is a great loss to us all. That's the truth. So may you rest in peace. But anyway, yeah, Max Fleischer, he was well ahead of his time with that sort of thing. And yeah, he did a lot of that multiplaning stuff. I don't know if he invented it, but he certainly perfected it. Just like rotoscope, he definitely perfected that one. He was a genius, and it's too bad that nobody does that anymore. As far as I know, he was the only one to actually do that. Why? I don't know. For some reason, nobody else did. Disney, of course, they had their good go around with their animation, which was superior to Fleischer's, especially during the golden age. I'm talking when they did movies like Peter Pan, The Aristocats, Robin Hood, of course, Snow White, and let's see, so many others. I can't. Let me think. Oh, Sleeping Beauty, of course. I mean, The Sword and the Stone, no doubt about it. Disney's artwork was superior because the color and all that. It's really incredible. It's too bad they stopped doing it for all the Pixar movies. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, that'd be something I would like to see. I mean, supposedly before all this happened, Disney was going to start drawing cartoons again. But all this happened. So, and for all I know, it was just a rumor at the time. Maybe it was going to happen, maybe it won't. I don't know. But it would be nice because it'd be nice to see good old fashioned animation again. Now, granted, I don't expect to see the classic pen and ink style because, well, ever since computers made it where you could draw on there, I don't think you'll be seeing pen and ink ever again. It would be nice, but I don't think so. And let's get real, folks. Shows like The Loud House, they're actually done on a computer. They are not done with good old pen and ink and animation cells. Now, granted, it could be helpful. It probably would save a little bit of time and all that, and a lot of paper, I'm sure. But I just miss that stuff. That's all. But anyway, yeah. Let's see. I'll tell you one other great cartoonist, Chuck Jones. He was a genius. He was a genius in his own right because this guy did a lot of stuff he did stuff for Looney Tunes that really no one else could, except for maybe Fritz Freeling. Fritz Freeling, he really paved the way for the golden age of Looney Tunes. But let's get real. But if there was a diamond age, it would definitely have to be Chuck Jones because you ever wonder why? What? Let me put it. How do I put this? Because his designs, his style, his methods, it was incredible. I think one of my sorry. In fact, my favorite and everyone else's would have to be the Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner cartoons. And I think we could all agree on that one. A writing and animating genius. Yes, he was, Bonnie. He really was. But yeah, for Chuck Jones, he did so much for it because, one of the big things, and I didn't find this out until a little recently, was that with the Coyote and Roadrunner cartoons, believe it or not, he actually was so keen on how he was going to do this. He literally set rules as to how this was going to play out. I'm not kidding. He actually had rules like one, the coyote must never catch the roadrunner. Yeah. Like, and two, the coyote never hurts the roadrunner in any way. The only thing he might do is scare him. His classic, he sneaks up behind him and goes, meep, meep, out of nowhere and he jumps, that kind of thing. And of course, the only time the coyote gets hurt is done by either faulty equipment or his own bungling. And that's pretty much what happened there. Every time. Every time. It was his own bungling that did it. Or the faulty equipment. As we all know. Everything was, and of course, everything must be made by Acme. I'm not kidding. He actually had rules for that. Oh yeah, he did, Max. That's true. He did. He kind of broke his rule like at the very end. Well, close to the end of his career with no wait, maybe that wasn't close to well, he did do that later, that's true. But I think he really did that as kind of a joke in a way. That technically he did catch him. And I think and I know the one you're talking about. The legendary Soup or Sonic cartoon. I love that one. That is the best one ever made because of the dramatic approach that he took on that one. And that's one of the big ones, dramatic approach. Because, with the stuff you never knew, you may have had an idea what was going to happen, but you never knew how Chuck was going to pull this stuff off. For instance, in Soup or Sonic, where he's after the Roadrunner like crazy, the animation on that is incredible. Like when he knocks the exploding tennis ball back into the box of exploding tennis balls, and the coyote scoots up and he has that look on his face, a look that could almost be kind of creepy, yet make you go, oh no, Oh my God, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful animation. And of course, when the coyote falls off the cliff, he does some real dramatic music for that one. In fact, I think this is the only one where he really got super dramatic with the music for the coyote, anyway. I don't know of any others where he ever did that. If there are others, I either missed him or forgot about him because, there are so many out there. But yeah, when he's going off the cliff, you hear this dramatic, you know? And come to think of it, I believe that little cartoon actually holds the world record for how many times he falls off the cliff. I actually counted them. I'm not kidding. It's the most that's ever happened in any Coyote Roadrunner short. No lie. I've even been tempted to make a special little video lineup of legendary cartoons. And I'm more like legendary episodes, really. And that is one of the ones on my list right there. Right up there with Popeye meets Sinbad the Sailor. I'm not kidding. That's one of them. And rightfully so. And yeah, in the end, he does technically catch him. And of course, the coyote does real. But the problem is, when he caught him, the coyote got shrunk down to size while the Roadrunner was normal size. And well, as he put it in his little sign language, I always love that joke. Okay, wise guys, you've been wanting me to catch him all these years. Now what do I do? Classic. Do it. All right, Bonnie, I will do it because I have been tempted for a long time. Because stuff like this. Problem is, how would I put that down? Is a flashback or something different altogether? I don't know. Because, like I said, to talk about legendary cartoons, I think I might have to come up with a new title for something like that. Probably just that, legendary cartoons or legendary episodes. I don't know. And believe me, there are a lot of them that are absolutely legendary. So, in fact, there is one group of cartoons which is so legendary that I think most people will remember them. And I'm talking about the Max Fleischer Wednesday cartoons. Well, I got Video Game Wednesday, but that's only during the summer. But still, that title seems a little. Well, yeah, I haven't gone on a weekly thing, haven't I? Except for a few things like my. No, wait a minute. Like my No Onions Allowed. That's the only random one. And my Let's Talk. But yeah, Wednesday cartoons. I don't know. Well, I'm open to suggestions if anybody's got any. I do like the idea, though, Bonnie. Hey, Legendary Thursday. How does that sound, folks? That sound good? Give me a thumbs up or a yes or whatever. Give me an honest opinion. I don't care. I I like the title, just thinking off the top of my head. Legendary Thursday. Just a title, though. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Still, but still, to do legendary, to talk about just legendary, there are a lot. Oh, yeah, it does sound great, doesn't it? Oh, you like it too, Max. Okay, folks, you've just watched progress in action here. Down the road, I'm going to be creating a small little lineup that I'm going to call Legendary Thursday. Hey, Jonathan, it's good to see you. But yeah, that's what I'm going to call it, Legendary Thursday. I'll make a note of that, and I'll try and get on that as fast as I can. What can I say? I've been a little busy lately with work and, with some other videos I've been working on. In fact, I've just caught up on quite a few things. I'm doing one with Alpha right now. Sorry, with my good friend Alpha Lion Simba. And of course, having a girlfriend is a very time-consuming process for all the right reasons. And that's no lie either. Not to mention, I gotta make time for my little kitties as ouch, he bit me. Don't give me that look. George, you're not helping matters, right? Cats will be cats, I guess. Oh, it's a dare to compare, Bonnie. You see, Alpha proposed the idea of doing a photo bombing here. A little dare to compare between both Lion King movies. I hadn't heard from him in a while, and then finally he popped up with that one. So, you know, so yeah, I'm working on that with him, and it's going pretty well. Hello, Mr. Kitty. Hi. Okay. For those of you who don't know, this crazy cat here is George. Why do you give me such a sleepy look? Oh, that one, Bonnie, I'm afraid I'm going to have to either tell you off the screen or you're going to have to wait and find out, I'm afraid. Because I'd hate to ruin the video for everybody. Hey, cut it out. I just try to pet you for crying out loud. Come on, put him up. Boom, 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 boom. Anyway, but I'll give you a bit of a hint. Yeah, I'll give you a hint. Let's just say you know how it is with me usually. That might give you a clue. Anyway, but oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. There's a lot of anniversaries for movies this year. Yeah, you know what? There is. That's true. In fact, it won't be long before it'll be the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers here in America. I'm not kidding either. It's really true. And I just finished a special on that one, which I hope to air soon, but I won't be doing it just yet because I got a few more I got to get out first. A few more things I want to get out first. But anyway, yeah. The let's see. Was it? Let's see. We were on cartoons, and I did mention about Chuck Jones there, big time. And yeah, one of the things that Chuck Jones really did to make the Coyote cartoon, the Coyote and Roadrunner cartoon so great was the fact that he. Oh no way! It really is the 30th anniversary of Terminator 2 this July. Wow. I'll have to re-air my old. Oh wait, I never created one, did I? I created the first one. Oh, 1991. Oh yeah. That's right. It would be. Oh, well, I doubt I'll be able to make that video in time because I've always loved Terminator 2. That movie is legendary. Because it was one of the first films, one of them, to use both practical effects and CGI, even before Jurassic Park. And that's no lie either, folks. And they did it in all the right ways because, as we all remember, the CGI was used for the T-1000 that was after John Connor, while the practical effects was used by Arnold, when he has the half a face thing going on because his skin was blown off there. And of course, his robot arm, when he cuts it open, that sort of thing. Great stuff. Great stuff indeed. Let's get rid. Yeah, folks, before there was Jurassic Park, there was Terminator 2, and that's one of the things that really sold the show. That and the legendary action, and of course, Arnold's great acting. In fact, I would say Terminator 2 was the movie that definitely paved the way for him to do action movies as the hero. Because, before that, it was just the Terminator with him, and for that, he was the bad guy. Now, sure, there were other movies, I think, a little bit before. Now, yeah, there were some movies beforehand that he did, but I think this was the one that really launched his acting career during that time. Because, after that, he was cranking out all kinds of action movies. That's true, too. That's true. It did prove that sequels can actually top the original. This is one of the few that actually did it, too. In fact, I've often said that. In fact, I remember years ago, I made a video talking about the greatest sequels ever made. This was number 0 on that list. Because if you ever seen my videos, when I put a number 0 on anything, that's because it is so legendary, so phenomenal, so incredible, or bad, depending what I'm talking about. It literally supersedes number 1. Because, anyone could have a number 1 on the list. Watch Mojo has about 5 million of them. But I'm the only one who has number 0 for stuff that's either that great or that bad. Oh, it'll also be the 26th anniversary of Batman Forever, huh? Yeah. What do you know about that? Yeah. But yeah, one of the big things is I made a special video talking about the Power Rangers anniversaries, which I hope to release soon, hopefully before the 30th anniversary. Yeah, I would say, Jonathan, I would say when it comes to the Terminator trilogy, I put it like this: Terminator, great. Terminator 2, legendary, fantastic, amazing beyond belief. Terminator 3, yeah, it just felt to me like they shouldn't have done it, especially considering all the stuff that came in afterwards, like Terminator Genesis, and now that other one that came afterwards, where all of a sudden John Connor is the Terminator and all that junk. And then, of course, there was what was the fourth one called? I can't remember that one. There is Bonnie. There was a fourth one which really stunk. In fact, I did see a bit of that, and boy, it really contradicts the first 3 altogether. I'm not joking. That's one of the because in the because it takes place in the future, and there's a scene where one of the Terminator, one of the machines, which looks more like a big centipede, if I remember correctly, is being shot down or shot at, I should say, by an Osprey. That would be the military plane with the wings that go up like that and could go forward, with the propellers. Yeah, the problem with that theory is how would they be able to have the Osprey if, the it didn't exist back in 1991 yet? And don't forget, the Terminators don't take over until shortly after that. And there's no way we could have that plane available in the future. I don't see how anyway. So, but then again, the story took place in the third movie took place in roughly I don't know, was it 2001 or 2? Maybe 3. I don't know. But anyway, okay, maybe by that time there's an excuse. Like for instance, all in the third movie, he did say that he didn't stop Judgment Day; he just delayed it. So, Salvation. Thank you. That's what it was. Salvation. But the thing that really kills it, or I should say ruins it, is the fact that when they capture a Terminator and he's literally saying, I'm human, but I'm human. and stuff like that. It's like, oh my God, 2003. Thank you. So the Osprey was getting off the ground at that time. So, okay, maybe there's a slight excuse there, but I still don't like it for Salvation anyway. But anyway, getting back on track here. For what was I? Oh, for shoot, I lost my train of thought. I don't know what happened here. Salvation, or was it? Oh, yeah, the robot who keeps saying, "I'm human, but I'm human." That was a clear-cut ripoff of Bicentennial Man. And the difference is he was a robot who wanted to become human. Just like Pinocchio wanted to be a real boy. But yeah, at least with Bicentennial Man, there was a purpose behind the story and a rhyme and a reason, thanks to its author, Dr. Asimov, for instance. He wrote the story, which became the movie. At least there was a purpose to it. For this, it was like the robot actually thinks he's human for some reason. Really. Anyway, let's see. We should do 30th anniversary of Batman Forever, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie together. Well, Jonathan, the 30th anniversary of the movie doesn't happen until 2025. Batman Forever. Well, we should. And you know what? I mean, I did talk about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, and I think that was one of my best work. Sadly, nobody seemed to care on this channel. But Dark Fate. Was that the one where John Connor was the bad guy? Or maybe it was just a robot made to be like John Connor? I don't know. I'll hold that thought until you get back to me on that one, Max. But yeah. 50th anniversary of Willy Wonka. Wow. Seriously. I might have to re-air my old video of that one during that time because, yeah. Of course, the bad thing is I would have to re-air Charlie and the Chocolate Factory first because they are connected. T-800 killed John. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. He did mention that in movie 3, didn't he? So, well, I suppose we could. The hard part for me would be trying to cover Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, without going around in the same circles that I already covered. But still, there are a few things that I suppose I could bring up that might be new. Like, for instance, I recently rewatched it and I discovered a blooper that I missed. Oh, there's no doubt about it, Bonnie. Willy Wonka is always better than Charlie. Because, I'm sorry. The only thing that movie got right to me was calling it Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Because, I never did understand why it was called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory in the first place. Because if you think about it, the story's really about Charlie. And, Willy Wonka, he was the chocolate factory in a way. Because, the guy perfected his chocolate making skills. He ran the factory. You know, he was the factory, and that's the truth. Because of his madness or genius, whatever you want to call it, how he did things. But, the point is, he was the chocolate factory. So it should have been called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in the first place. So, yeah, that's the only thing the Tim Burton movie got right. And, I'm sorry, but I have to agree with just to sell candy before showing the movie. Now, that makes perfect sense to me. Yeah. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I won't deny that. You know what? I found out a few small things quite recently. There's one that I think some of y'all might be interested in. I was recently watching Tune In With Me. That'd be that thing on MeTV where they show cartoons every week, every morning, Monday through Friday. They were playing the Duck Dodgers cartoon. Now, I'm talking the first one, not the second one, the first one. And, I found out something I didn't know. I don't know if anybody really knew this actually. Apparently, when Star Wars premiered back in the 1970s, George Lucas actually requested that they play Duck Dodgers before the movie aired. Yeah, that's pretty incredible, actually. Because I wish I didn't know that. It was before my time, so how could I have known, right? And nobody ever talks about these things. And you know what? Since I'm on the subject of tuning with me, the show's going pretty good, except it's still got a few hiccups there. Like one, for some reason on weekdays they're still doing that stupid letterbox thing. I don't know why. Because on the weekends it's full screen. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Oh God. The Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Tom and Jerry crossover. Oh. I haven't seen it, but from what you guys told me, I don't want to. Not if I want to keep my sanity or not get blind, stinking drunk. I don't know whatever comes first. Oh. In the words of Sideshow Bob. Anyway, yeah, that's one of the good things I like about tuning with me. Every now and again, they chime in with a few little facts about some of the cartoons that come up. Most of them, there's really not much you can say, to be honest, but there are some moments like bringing up that George Lucas requested that they played Duck Dodgers before Star Wars premiered. That's awesome to know. I like that kind of information. It's what everyone would call them fun facts. I just like it. That's all there is to it. And there are times, they'll talk about like they got a cartoon going on and they'll bring up that this was the first one to use Looney Tunes' theme song. I love that. A lot better than their skits that they have going on in between, like that Goldie Fisher and her other characters that they made up and all that. Now they're just going crazy with that. Oh man, they need to stop that. They really need to stop that. That's what's killing the show for me. Fortunately, I recorded early in the morning, so I can do this with my remote control. Done and get past it. But yeah, ugh, yeah, awful indeed, Bonnie. I haven't seen it, but yeah. Oh, Max, seriously. Yeah, I don't do Disney Plus, but I'm not going to argue with you on that one, man. Because, I ended up watching the Star Wars Holiday Special for a team up I did with Bonnie. Oh my God, seriously, I'm amazed that I didn't end up pounding down a quart of scotch for that. I'm not kidding. It was terrible, absolutely terrible. Although I've been told that they are playing the animated scene, which is the only good thing about it. Let's get real, folks. The animated scene was great, except for a few small glitches like Han Solo's face. Ugh. What were they thinking with that? Seriously. But yeah, if focus on that, fine by me, because that was a lot better than everything else. Way better than everything else. But getting back to Terminator again, I think they should have left it alone with movie two because movie three, it was a real to me. The others, they don't do nothing for me at all. Well, correction, I saw movie four and then I just left it at that. Now, I know Max, you said that movie six was great, but there are times that people take these things way too far. And let's not forget how many Saw movies there are, how many Friday the 13th movies there are, how many Freddy Krueger movies there are. You know, it's like Bonnie said, reminds me every now and again when she talks about Was it Lewis or was it Tolkien? I can't remember which. I think it was Lewis, wasn't it, Bonnie? Who, well, anyway, someone asked him, apparently a child asked him if he was going to make any more books of one thing that he was doing. And he said no, because he knows when to stop or something like that. And that's the thing. People need to know when to stop a franchise. Now, granted, sure, there are some shows that have gone on for a long time and they continue to do well, like Power Rangers, for instance. But don't forget, with Power Rangers, it's literally a new cast every season, new powers, new villains, new abilities. So, it kind of recreates itself as it goes along. But to talk about movies that are based off of an original idea, to try to stretch it out for so long, you can only do so much with it. And that's the truth. That's one of the reasons why, they stopped with the Jason movies and the Freddy movies, because, they've taken that as far as it could go. And I'm still amazed they made it that far. Yeah, a new Saw film. I should have known. Yeah, well, oh well. And you know what gets me though? You get movies that have gone on to Lewis. Yeah, it was C.S. Lewis that said that. Thank you, Bonnie. You get so many of them who just take this too far. That's a good idea. Let's all forget the Star Wars Holiday Special, except for the animation segment. Yeah, definitely. Let's forget about that. Just like we all want to forget about Star Trek 5. Oh my God. What a disaster that was. Yep, one of the worst movies of all time. One of them. Certainly the worst Star Trek movie of all time, that's for sure. Huh? Why, hello, George. My little buddy's come to say hi to me. Hi, little buddy. Watch carefully. He's probably going to attack my microphone at any minute. See? I love you too. But yeah. Yeah, fact is, most people don't know when to stop. And they just take this thing way too far where it's watered down beyond belief. That's what I feel happened to the Terminator movies. The way I see it, stop it. It shouldn't have carried on the way it did. It should have just ended with movie two. I mean, granted, and back then, technically, in a way, for a long time, it did, at least until 2003. Well, I'll put it to you this way, Bonnie. Um, it goes something like this. I'm assuming you've never seen it. Yeah, you know what? I can't believe it either. I didn't think he was that old. I didn't know William Shatner was 90 until recently. And yeah, I can't believe it either. And you know what? Just for the heck of it, it's late, but I'm going to say it anyway. Happy birthday, William Shatner. It's good you're still around. And I'm glad to see that you're doing well. Yeah, the Jerry Springer show does need to go because it's been on way too long. We all know it's faker than professional wrestling, so why it goes on, I don't know. But then again, why do soap operas keep sticking around? What is it about that garbage that just lives on? Well, to put it simply, Bonnie, I'm just going to move back of square here for the. Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad because Star Trek is actually pretty good. Although, ironically, when it comes to the movies, it's kind of a random thing. The first movie, while it's interesting, it's very original. The idea of the plot, anyway, it's not very true to Star Trek and the series, anyway. You'd have to have watched the series to get the picture because there's boy, the clothes they're wearing in that one, they are ridiculous looking. Now, I mean ridiculous. It's no lie. I believe somebody said the right question. Why are they wearing pajamas? That's really what it looked like. Some weird pajamas. And it wasn't even true to the series. That was the biggest problem. The clothes weren't true to it. The story didn't feel right to most of the Trekkies. I'm somewhere in the middle on that. I'm one of the few that like both Star Trek and Star Wars. So there you go. But anyway, yeah. First one, it's got a good story and all that, but it's not really true to Star Trek at all. Movie two, The Wrath of Khan, that one's quite legendary because of, Spock dies. It's got a great story. And plus, they brought back a character from the series. And to the best of my knowledge, when it comes to, something like that, like a series turned into a movie, it's never been done like that before. And I don't think it's ever been done since. And no, I'm not talking about, somebody decides, hey, let's make a movie based off a series like The Lone Ranger and bring back the Cavendish story again. No, I'm not talking about that. This was more like a follow up to an episode that they did back in the 60s. That's never been done before. And to the best of my knowledge, it probably hasn't been done since. So that's a big deal there. And, the story's great. Oh, it did? No. I just got news that Jerry Springer ended 3 years ago. Oh, you know what? It probably did when he became Judge Jerry. Yeah, can you picture that? Him, a judge. Yeah, I fell out of favor with that years ago. So, but they probably are. But it is possible, Max, that what Jonathan might be talking about is he might mean the fact that they're still airing it. And to the best of my knowledge, they still are airing old episodes. So, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of old episodes that are garbage of any show, really, that just need to stop. Like, for instance, the Thundermans. They got to stop airing that. They really got to stop airing it. But yeah, getting back to Star Trek again. Yeah, movie one, good, but not that good. Movie two, great. Movie three, that did have some pretty serious flaws in it, I think. I think a lot of people felt that way too. For that one, they bring Spock back to life. It's a long, complicated story. And it's been a while since I've seen that one, so I can't really say for certain right now. In fact, it's been so long, I've literally forgotten most of it. But yeah, I think most people felt about that one. 27 years. Wow. I didn't know that. Huh. Yeah. Well, like I said, I fell out of favor with him a long time ago. So, yeah. Let's see. When did. Oh, wait. Let's move on. Let's see. Let's see. Movie three was kind of eh. Movie four. That was always my favorite one. That I've always felt that was the greatest one Star Trek movie they made. Because with that one, they take a whole new approach. And Leonard Nimoy actually directed that one too. I got to make a review on that one of these days. But Bonnie, you might find this one interesting. The story goes that a probe from a far off galaxy that we haven't discovered yet, or I should say the people haven't discovered yet, comes to Earth. And because apparently this probe had such immense power beyond belief, it was knocking off all our power systems. I'm not kidding. It was literally just shutting them off. And it was also making the oceans kind of evaporate into the sky, blocking out the sun. Therefore, the planet would have died in about I don't know, matter of days or weeks or something like that. And because, it knocks out power, the people can't escape. So our main characters go back in time to try to save the Earth. Now, this may sound kind of silly because I just jumped over a big thing here. They discover through, thanks to Spock, they discover that the probe is actually here to try to speak to whales. humpback whales, actually, who by that time were extinct, and they were trying to figure out why they lost contact. And obviously, there's no whales in that present day, but if they go to the past, they can hopefully pick some up to try to answer the call. That's the plan. And it's a great movie. You really got to look that one up, Bonnie, especially when you see the whales. Believe it or not, they're not real. Only a couple times they're real. And they are so beautifully put together, so beautifully choreographed, for lack of a better term. I'm not sure. They're basically giant models, and they moved so perfectly and so on that for years I always thought they were real, except for a few moments. But no, they were actually models, real life size workable models that moved so perfectly because the special effects man who was behind all that actually studied the whales in action. He actually studied their movements, everything. He got it down to the wire. I'm not kidding. And you got to watch it, Bonnie. You really good. You really got it. It's great. You'd love that one, I think. I've always loved that movie. That's probably the greatest Star Trek movie ever made. Whereas for the fifth one, we find out that Spock has a brother they never talked about. Not in the movies, not in the series, not in nothing. And he's on a mission to find God. And in the end, he thinks he's found God, but it turns out he's actually a demon from another dimension who wants to take over our dimension. Yeah, enough said there. It's bad. It is bad, 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 bad. William Shatner actually directed that. And I'm sorry, he's a good actor, but a director he is not. There was a sixth movie that nobody ever talks about. It was called The Undiscovered Country. Now, it's actually more of a metaphor that Kirk makes at the very end, or close to the very end of the movie. What he and what, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've seen this one too. What he said was that it was something that his son said years ago, that peace is basically an undiscovered country. It's an area that we all like to get to, we all like to explore, but we just haven't reached there yet, or something like that. It's a pretty good metaphor, actually. And the movie was actually really good. The sad thing is, because of movie five, really, it didn't do very well. In fact, most people don't even talk about it. I don't think too many people even know it exists. I'm not kidding. When it comes to the best of the bad acting, Samurai Cop is definitely up there. Hmm. I never heard of that one. But if I never heard of it, that might explain a lot. Oh, really? I didn't know James Cameron did something. Oh, yeah, that's right. I heard about that. Hmm. William Shatner was the voice of Two-Face in the animated movie sequel, Batman. No, I didn't know that. I heard about that. I heard about that one, Bonnie. Batman versus Two-Face was Adam West's final movie before he passed away. Yeah, that was a sad day for everybody. A really sad one. You know what? That kind of reminds me of one movie that everyone pretty much forgot about because no one ever gave it any attention. And that's Batman Mask of the Phantasm, the animated movie. Yeah, I know one guy did a review on it not too long ago, talking about, why it flopped and all that, but I think it flopped for different reasons. So, well, at least I would think so because I never really watched his review on it, at least not yet anyway. But to me, I think it really flopped mostly because it had literally no publicity at all. Now, sure, there were probably bigger movies coming out at that time that probably really stole the limelight. Like, I think Free Willy was coming out at that time, and that really got the limelight big time, and rightfully so, because it was quite a film for kids. But I think really it was the fact that there was literally no publicity at all. I don't even remember them even showing commercials on television. I'm not kidding. There was barely one commercial, just one commercial in the tape of Free Willy. And that's literally about it. At least that's all I could ever see. So, yeah, and that's not a good thing. When you got no publicity, no one has any reason to look up the movie or watch it. And that's the truth. I'm kind of surprised that Fox Kids didn't even talk about it. They never even brought it up because they were showing Batman the Animated Series for years. That was where the series really shined, was on there. Why they never brought it up is beyond me. I don't even remember a commercial for it. I'm not kidding. I mean, when Power Rangers made a movie, there was tons of commercials for that. And that's why, that's one of the things that most people overlook when it comes to movies. Publicity. That's always a key thing. If you get the information out there, if you do tons of commercials, make appearances on comic books and stuff like that, or in the case of now, go online and, mention these movies, then people might take an interest in it. They might get hyped up for it, especially if they're reading it or watching the commercials. But in this case, no, there was nothing, literally nothing. I'll be right back. Yeah. In fact, if there was another movie that pretty much didn't make it because of literally no publicity at all, it would have to be The Shadow. Because as I recall, there was like a couple of commercials at best, and I think they only played it literally a couple of times. I think the most I remember was a movie poster, and they really didn't do much with it at all. That's the sad truth. And that was a great movie. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, granted, I caught the radio dramas. I know how The Shadow is. It's a well, it's not exactly the same. The movie's not exactly the same, but that's Hollywood for you. They always change things. Let's see. I love Batman Mask of Phantasm. In my opinion, it's exactly what Batman Returns should have been. And that's true. Batman Returns was a bad joke at best. Mask of the Phantasm it could have really been something. That's the truth. But for some reason, it just became this. It became literally a movie that nobody knows about, or hardly anybody, and didn't make it because sadly it was a lack of publicity. I mean, I've watched the movie. The story is pretty darn solid. In fact, get this. They never even shown it on television. I think I only saw it on television one time on Cartoon Network. They actually showed it just one time. So that speaks for itself. It's one of the things that kind of brings up a weird irony that, you know, most people don't even know or think about. Before, you had all the streaming and, movies online like YouTube, they're cranking out movies online now these days. Like if you want to, you could watch the Max Fleischer version of Gulliver's Travels for free right now. It's a bit random. Some movies are free, some movies are not. It depends how old they are or how common they are, that sort of thing. But anyway, or eh, well, there's probably something else in there, but I can't think of it. But anyway, yeah. Before all that, there was the classic Saturday, the weekend movies. We're talking the Saturday lineup, the late shows that some people might remember. But if you don't, if it was before your time, the Late Show was basically a time when they would show old movies late at night. Yeah. Yeah, those were good versions. Every one of them. Perfect. Of course, I would also watch Batman the movie made back in 1966, starring Adam West himself and Burt Ward. That movie's great. I don't care what anybody says, it's great. Because, it's true. It's in a way, it's true to the series. But ironically, the movie was made before the series, but they kind of doubted if it would work. They set it up originally as a pilot for it, but so they switched it up to make the series come first before the movie instead of the other way around. And it worked out. Yeah, that's true. The Shadow was one of the inspirations for Batman, among other things. He was also one of the inspirations for Darkwing Duck as well. So I've been told. Anyway, yeah, with the late shows and the late movies, in a way, you still kind of have those kind of things. Like Svengoolie, he still plays horror films every Saturday night. And I know there was who was there? I know Elvira's probably still doing her thing, and of course, in the Midwest, there's Doctor Sanguinary. Of course, he's online these days because sadly, the local areas won't pick him up anymore. I don't know why, but anyway, yeah, there was your late shows and that, and there during Saturday mornings and afternoons, even during Sundays, they had well, as they would call it, a matinee. Because, during the weekends, they would show lots of movies. It was as random as it could possibly get. And I could never forget how Sundays in the evenings, you had the wonderful world of Disney, where they would show Disney movies, of course. They could be their live action ones that they had at that time, like Old Yeller, for instance, or, of course, their classic ones like Sleeping Beauty, Snow White. Great stuff. Even some of the stuff that came out a couple of years back, like at that time, anyway, like The Lion King, Mulan, stuff like that. And I'm talking the original ones, not the remakes. What I'm trying to, like I said, this was a long time ago. They don't really do that anymore. So sorry, Disney doesn't because they got Disney Plus and all that. So why bother, right? Anyway, anyway, the and if they're still doing it, that's news to me. But anyway, the I remember back in the day, they showed all kinds of movies, great movies. You had like Commando. I think there was a couple of the Rambo movies, American Ninja, that sort of thing. Oh, Three Ninjas, great film there. I don't care what anybody says. But there was also times that they showed movies like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, and they showed that one religiously. They never, for some reason, they never showed the first two. I don't know why. They just wouldn't do it. And then, of course, Ghostbusters. They would show the second film, but they never showed the first film. In fact, I had not seen the first film until barely 3 years ago. I'm not making that up. I'm very serious. I hadn't seen the first film until 3 years ago because even on the movie channels, they wouldn't show it. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, isn't it? They wouldn't even show it. And that movie is legendary. Everybody knows it. Well, I guess everybody does now because finally I watched it. Oh, yeah. How'd that do for you, Max? Was it all right? Or do you think like everyone else and go, yeah? I'm just curious. I know everyone else hates the third movie. I like it, but then again, They shown that so much, I'm used to it. That could be one reason why. But I've always looked at it as more of a, in a way, historical perspective because, samurais and ninjas were natural enemies in the wild, for lack of a better, just to be funny there. And it is true. I did like the setup, although, yeah, Master Splinter, his look was not very good, but it wasn't the worst I've seen. Now, if you want to talk about Saban's Ninja Turtles, that Master Splinter was the worst I've seen, at least until Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, a big fat rat who does nothing but sit down and watch TV and uses a very cliche voice. Ugh. Oh, that's good to hear, Max. It's nice that somebody besides me actually enjoyed it. Because, there's no denying it is inferior to the first two. Movie one, legendary, and rightfully so. Movie two, it's great. It really is great. But, it's not as legendary as the first film. And rightfully so. That's usually the name of the game. Movie three, it's inferior, but it's still a lot better than most people give it credit for. Because, with the movie TMNT, which I've always called movie four, that's me talking, no one else. Because in a way, it kind of goes with it. They don't really do anything. That's half the problem. They really don't do anything until close to the very end. I mean, it's mostly just dialogue. And that kind of ruins it. That ruins it for me. It really does. Because, we expected more ninjutsu action than we got out of it. And we would have wanted to see Master Splinter do so much more. And he doesn't. Nobody does. I mean, granted, they had a great actor to play Master Splinter. They had Mako. Yes, the Mako, better known as Aku from Samurai Jack. He was the voice to that Master Splinter. He was great as him, but they just don't give the character anything. And with the original movies, at least with Jim Henson, it would have been next to impossible for, that Master Splinter to really do some serious ninjutsu action and be convincing. So, that's what the deal is. Plus, it's the persona that he's old. Whereas for this, you had the ability to do it because, it's CGI. The whole movie was CGI. And they didn't really give him anything. That was sad. Better than We Wish You a Turtle Christmas. Yeah, I'm not going to lie about that. The third movie is better than that one. But then again, the special that will remain nameless is still worse than We Wish You a Turtle Christmas. Of course, one of these days, I'm going to have to cover the so-called legend of Frosty the Snowman. Oh boy. I'm just giving myself a migraine thinking about that right now. Because I got a lot to say about that one. In fact, it's so terrible, I might have to let Cyber Movie Fan cover that one for me. Because I'll probably end up screaming. And no, I'm not kidding. I'm probably going to end up screaming talking about that. That's why I have Cyber Movie Fan cover the really, really, really bad ones. Unless it's something that needs to be said by me. Such as a turtle and a certain planetary war holiday specials. So anyway, yeah. Yeah. Ugh. And I still say the villain in that special is not the real villain. No. The main character's dad. He's the real villain. Check out the fan fiction, What If Harvey Dent? Huh. That's an interesting question. What if he was in that one like they were planning? I did hear about that, how supposedly they were going to have Harvey Dent be in Batman Returns, which would have paved the way for movie 3, technically, but they didn't go through with it. It would have been a better starting point than, oh, we got Two-Face, and then, like, I think it was about 10 minutes into the beginning, we find out how that happened. Yeah, Mako was both funny and terrifying as Aku. Of course, credit can definitely be done to the animators on that one, big time, because the faces Aku would make. Only the animation could do that. But Mako's voice was perfect for him. That's why no one could replace him, not even the guy who filled in the void for the final season. I use the word properly. I use it that way because, in the words of the director, no one can replace Mako. And there is no denying that. No one can replace him. And we all know it, and they did too. As they put it, the actor who they got to play Aku in that final season, he was just filling in the void. That's about it. And it's true because, he sounded a lot like him, but not exactly like him. But then again, you'd have to really be one heck of a voice actor to do that. And yeah, let's get real. Nobody's that good. Not even Seth MacFarlane, people, or I should call him the sellout. What do I mean by that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because the fact he decided to turn chicken on a few subjects. We'll leave it at that. After all these years of insulting people and so on, he finally caved in to one group. Coward. I guess even he's scared of a certain group. Krampus, huh? Well, I do have some big things to say about it, and I wouldn't just be reviewing bad movies, Jonathan. You know that. For instance, I got a Santa Claus movie I have yet to cover. Well, correction, I got it made up. I just don't haven't released it yet. It was a TV special. It's a good one. And one of these days I'll have to re-air Prancer again on here, but that could be some time because I kind of have done that about twice, once here and once on BitChute. But yeah, and that's a great film, a real classic. And sadly, it's been forgotten. There's also a few others that I haven't covered yet, like The Christmas Box. That was a good one. Real heartbreaking story, but it's a good one. Yes, and there's others. Miracle on 34th Street. Let's see. And I'm talking the original, not the remake. Never. Never. And let's see. There was White Christmas. Great film. But it's a little out of season for me to be talking about that, so I'm just going to move the conversation forward. Because unlike a lot of people who just do this to sell junk, I don't go for the Christmas in July routine. And let's get real, folks. We all know it's just a scheme to just sell stuff and to force us to watch Hallmark movies and movie Christmas specials. For even longer than we should. And boy, that gets old. That gets old really fast. Not lying either. But anyway, Jonathan, I don't think you chimed in to hear this one. I was talking about doing a special segment. No, sorry, not a segment, like a series of segments. How do I put this? Oh, adding a new day to my repertoire here. You know how I got Flashback Mondays, Movie Fridays, Video Game Wednesdays, and Cosplay Tuesdays, and I will get some more videos out. I just don't have too many of them. That's the sad truth. Plus, I'm working on a big one. I'm not going to say it. Jonathan and Bonnie, you know what it is. But the rest of you, I'm going to leave that as a surprise, and it is going to be a big one. My biggest one yet. But anyway, I was thinking of talking about legendary cartoons, mostly like certain episodes, really, not like not like strictly Looney Tunes or anything like that. I'm I'm going to call it Legendary Thursdays. What do you think? I know Bonnie liked it. I know Max Power liked it. And thanks for the input, guys. I don't know about everyone else, but who knows? Maybe I could get something out of that one. I think it'd be kind of fun, especially when it comes to talking about legendary cartoons. Because I'll tell you this, to try and talk about legendary cartoons, that's a lot of ground to cover, and I ain't kidding. From Chuck Jones to Max Fleischer to even some Walt Disney shorts. And there are some great ones out there, too, to cover. And some which are, well, let's say questionable, or, well, not as legendary, let's say, but should be. I've seen parts of Krampus. I haven't seen the whole thing, though. And I will admire one thing about it. Correction, I do admire one thing. It uses CG and practical effects. In fact, mostly it's practical effects. I think that's one of the things that really made this movie work for a lot of people. That, and they were pretty darn creative with the old legend. And yes, I am familiar with it. Now, let's see. It is now 1 hour, 32 minutes. Hey, that's not a bad run. Not bad for a solo performance, for lack of a better term. But yeah. Yeah, it's getting kind of late over here. And, sad but true, I know I haven't gotten too many viewers. Granted, I'm on 5 right now, but I don't expect much more. Huh? May I cover it with you too? Which one are you talking about, Bonnie? The most annoying thing about wearing a Phantom of the Opera mask, it gets kind of itchy after a while. Oh well, it happens. So, may I cover it with you too? Bonnie, if you're still there, I would like to know which one you're talking about because I'm curious. Boy, you know, oh, Legend of Frosty. I would like to work on that one with you, Bonnie. I really would. Because, oh my God, that was terrible beyond belief. Absolutely terrible. Oh, I'm glad you like the sound of that, Jonathan. Legendary Thursday. Yeah, because it does have some. Because believe me, with the ones I'll probably. Hey, hey, not the microphone. Just stop. Hey, my microphone. Mine. Mine. That's my microphone. Hey. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is the cartoons I intend to start with, they're very legendary. Most of them you've probably already seen. Well, most of us anyway. And some, hey, cut that out, will ya? Sheesh. That's my boy. Yeah. Yeah. There are some legendary cartoons out there, like Looney Tune, like the Roadrunner Coyote cartoons, Bugs Bunny, of course. There's A lot of them. Let's see. There's. Cut it out, will ya? Sorry about that, folks. There's some films by Tex Avery, and he really had some great ones too. Yeah, let's see. Then there was Max Fleischer. And I'm talking like Popeye and Betty Boop and that. Stop it, George. Come on. Why is Patrick Star as Frosty? You know, that's a mystery to me too. But then again, I'm asking the question of why is our main hero, the boy's dad, not in jail for being a tyrant? I still say he's the real villain in this story. Then I can't help but wonder why Burt Reynolds actually agreed to be in this movie. But then again, you know, the guy pretty much hit rock bottom during those later years anyway. Well, it's a sad fact. He got married and divorced quite a few times, and boy, that broke him big time. Poor guy. Poor guy. Of course, truth be told, all he does is narrate it, and that's not a bad thing, but still, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe he sold himself for that. But then again, it could be worse. He could have been a main character in Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. I think that one's actually worse than The Legend of Frosty. I'm not kidding. Panton at the Opera. Oh, I think I remember. Oh, I got that one. I've seen that one. That's a great one. It's not exactly a cartoon though, Jonathan. In fact, I got one for you. One legendary cartoon. It was a goose. Sorry, not cartoon. One legendary episode. It was a Goosebumps episode. It was called The Phantom of the Auditorium. Great film. Sorry, great episode. Yeah. And you know, that Wishbone episode actually was the closest thing, one of the closest ones to being accurate to the book. But in this case, it was meant to be. Well, as close as you could get for a PBS kids show that went for about a half hour, you know, cop and a half. Boy, I never heard of that one. But if I never heard of it, there must be a reason. Just like most people don't know about a certain movie, which I will talk about some other time. Hi, Dirty. Yeah. Nothing says I love you like having a little orange cat in your lap purring up a storm. Right, buddy? You were just eyeballing my microphone, aren't you? Yeah, I'm sure you are, pal. Well, that's okay. Well, let's see. What did I tell you? Give me that. Give me it. Give me it. Give me the microphone. Give it to me. Come on. Give me the microphone. No. Give me the microphone. That's mine. Be a good boy. That is mine. That's my little buddy here. Don't do that. Here. Here. No, 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 no. Cats. You'll love them. They get into things. Stop that, you little rascal. Now he's biting my finger. Would you believe that? Now you stop that. This is what I put up with. And if you think this is bad, try recording videos, try recording audios with this happening. And this isn't my best microphone either. Well, I mean, it was for a while, but now I just use it for these moments because I had to get a better microphone for my computer. That's a good boy. But what are you gonna do? Anyway, unfluff your tail, you crazy cat. You don't need to fluff up your tail. Come on, come on. That's enough of that. There you go. Ugh. Anyway, well, I think I pretty much said all I could say on such a within an hour, and I'm starting to lose my voice here. So I think I better call it a night. But Bonnie and Jonathan, if you want to keep chatting, we can meet up at Google Hangouts, and I'll see if I can squeeze out a few more things to say, for lack of a better term. So, huh? Oh yeah, that's see, I always love that one too. Phantom of the Auditorium. You could tell R.L. Stein took that from the Phantom of the Opera. He just did a change up on it. Yeah, it's great to see you, Bonnie. And yeah, I would love to do some team ups with you. Let's see. There's the Legend of Frosty. That's one. And let's see. The other one was it going to be a review on Gulliver's Travels, the Max Fleischer version? Was there a third one? Because I don't think there was, or was there? I don't know. Anyway, thanks to everybody for chiming in, and well, hopefully I could see you again soon. Because oh, I didn't announce this. Because from now on, I'm going to be doing it one live stream every month. This is Movie Fan signing off.